Ladies and gentlemen, there is a curious paradox in the world. The most brilliant work often happens away from the eyes of others, not in the grand halls of applause, nor under the gaze of an eager audience, but in the quiet, steady solitude where effort meets discipline. We live in an age that celebrates noise. Achievements are announced before they are realized, and success is measured by how many hear of it rather than its true depth. Yet the most profound victories are those that do not demand recognition. They simply are. The sculptor chisels away in a lonely workshop, unseen. The writer labors over sentences that may take years to be read. The farmer rises before dawn, not for accolades, but because the land demands it. Their work is not diminished by silence, it is strengthened by it. To work hard in silence is to trust the work itself. It is to believe that the effort is enough, that diligence needs no witness, and that excellence does not require an audience. True mastery is never boastful, and greatness is rarely loud. A river does not announce the moment it carves valleys into the earth. The sun does not demand thanks for rising. They simply do what they were made to do, and so must we. When the time comes, your labor will speak for itself, not in words, but in its undeniable presence. Success does not need to be declared, it is known. So work hard, remain steadfast, and let your results be the only voice that matters. The greatest works of human endeavor are often crafted in solitude. This is not to say that collaboration is without merit, but there is an undeniable truth that the deepest, most meaningful labor happens in the quiet, where no eyes are watching and no voices offer approval or critique. Solitude is the forge where ideas are tested, where skills are sharpened, and where the true weight of discipline is felt. When one works in solitude, there is no applause to urge them forward, no immediate validation to affirm their progress. This absence of external encouragement forces an individual to rely on something far more enduring. The artist in their studio, the writer before a blank page, the scientist lost in equations, the craftsman shaping wood with careful precision, all are bound by a singular truth. The work itself is the only companion, and it demands everything. In the silence one must face the discomfort of imperfection. Without an audience to impress, there is no room for pretense. Every flaw, every limitation, every frustration becomes evident, and yet it is in this struggle that real growth occurs. Mistakes are met without shame, only with the quiet determination to correct them. There is no rush to present unfinished work for approval, no pressure to meet the fleeting standards of public opinion. The only competition is with yesterday's self, and the only goal is mastery. It is in this solitude that patience is cultivated. The modern world is restless, demanding instant results and visible success. But true work is slow, deliberate, and often thankless in its early stages. A painter spends years refining their technique before a masterpiece emerges. A musician practices unseen before a single note is heard by an audience. A philosopher wrestles with ideas long before their words carry weight in the world. The process is not glamorous, nor does it invite recognition. It is a quiet, steady commitment to something greater than immediate gratification. Discipline, too, is born in solitude. There is no one to enforce schedules, no external force ensuring consistency. It is here that one discovers the depths of their own commitment. The temptation to abandon difficult tasks is ever present, yet those who persist through solitary labor build an unshakable foundation. They do not depend on fleeting motivation or external rewards, but on an ingrained habit of excellence. Solitude also offers clarity. Without the distractions of noise and expectation, one can hear their own thoughts, recognize their own aspirations, and refine their purpose. The influence of others, while valuable, can sometimes obscure the voice within. In silence, ambition becomes pure, untainted by comparison or competition. The work is done, not for applause, nor for validation, but simply because it must be done. When one emerges from solitude with work completed, it carries a weight that cannot be fabricated. There is a depth, a quiet confidence, a mastery that speaks for itself. The world may only see the finished result, but the Creator knows the true journey. The unseen hours, the silent persistence, the unwavering dedication, and that is enough. Silence is often misunderstood. In a world that rewards noise, recognition, and constant validation, silence is seen as emptiness, as a void waiting to be filled, but in reality, silence is a force, a quiet ally that strengthens achievement in ways that noise never can. When one works in silence, there is a purity to the effort, a focus that is undisturbed by the expectations of others. It is in this space that true mastery is cultivated, where progress is measured not by applause, but by personal growth. When there is no external recognition, the only validation comes from the work itself. There is no need to impress, no immediate demand for results, only the slow and steady refinement of skill. The absence of noise forces one to be honest about their progress. There is no audience to shape the narrative, no pressure to present something half-formed as complete. Instead, there is the opportunity to refine, to perfect, to allow the work to take its own shape without interference. Silence eliminates distraction. The mind, unburdened by the weight of external opinions, can focus entirely on the task at hand. This kind of deep concentration is where breakthroughs occur, where ideas evolve beyond the obvious, and where true creativity flourishes. Without the constant pull of validation, there is a freedom to explore, to fail, and to refine without fear. The greatest discoveries, the most enduring works, and the most profound insights are often born in the absence of noise. There is also a discipline in silence that strengthens achievement. It forces one to rely not on fleeting motivation, but on something deeper: commitment. Those who work in silence learn to push forward even when there is no immediate reward, no encouragement, no recognition. They understand that real success is not about moments of glory, but about the unseen hours of effort that lead up to them. This kind of perseverance, developed in the quiet, builds a foundation that cannot be shaken by doubt or external pressure. Silence also brings a certain clarity. It removes the need to prove oneself to others, shifting the focus entirely to the work itself. It allows an individual to see their own progress without the distortion of comparison. Without the noise of expectations, achievement becomes something personal, something meaningful beyond the superficial markers of success. The quiet worker does not seek approval, they seek excellence. And in doing so, they often surpass those who chase attention rather than mastery. When achievement is strengthened by silence, it carries a different weight. It is not fragile, not dependent on external validation, but solid and enduring. It does not need to announce itself, it simply exists, undeniable and complete. Those who build their success in silence do not fear its absence, because they have already proven themselves where it matters most: in the quiet moments of effort, in the steady rhythm of discipline, and in the unwavering pursuit of something greater than recognition. In today's world, noise has become a currency. We are surrounded by it, and more often than not, we seek it out. It is woven into the fabric of modern life, from the constant buzz of social media to the round-the-clock news cycle, from the pressure to share every moment of our lives to the constant notifications that demand our attention. The value of noise in modern culture is undeniable. We have come to associate it with success, relevance, and connection. Silence, in contrast, feels like an anomaly, a pause in the perpetual rhythm of constant activity. Yet this cultural shift towards noise has fundamentally altered our perception of achievement, of progress, and of what it means to truly make an impact. Noise in modern culture often comes in the form of visibility. In a world where being seen is equated with success, there is an overwhelming emphasis on broadcasting one's every move. The more we share, the more we post, the louder our voices are, the more likely we are to be noticed. This loudness becomes a symbol of accomplishment, of worthiness, and of influence. Platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok encourage us to perform, to be ever present, and to be constantly moving, even when what we are moving towards may not be clear. The pursuit of likes, followers, and views can create an illusion of success that many chase, not realizing that in doing so, they risk losing sight of the deeper work that needs to be done in silence. In modern culture, noise has come to symbolize urgency. We live in a world where everything feels time-sensitive, where the next trend, the next viral moment, the next big thing is just around the corner. The loudest voices are often the ones who dominate the conversation, whose actions are perceived as most important, and whose opinions are taken as the most relevant. But this constant rush for attention can be draining both personally and collectively. It fosters a culture of reaction rather than reflection, where people respond to what is immediate without taking the time to consider what is lasting. The incessant noise often drowns out the voices that seek to offer wisdom, nuance, and depth. The pressure to make noise has also led to a culture of comparison. With the constant bombardment of other people's success, achievements, and curated moments, it is easy to feel that one's own progress is insufficient. The noise creates a measuring stick that is arbitrary and ever-changing. What is deemed successful or important is dictated by what is visible, what is loud, and what is trending. This fosters a false sense of urgency, a belief that if you are not constantly making noise, you are falling behind. The quiet work of personal development, of steady and consistent effort, often gets lost in the clamor of external expectations. The more we value noise, the more disconnected we become from what truly matters. In the constant search for validation through noise, we lose the ability to hear ourselves. The distractions of constant visibility and constant striving can overshadow the quieter, more meaningful moments that lead to true personal growth and achievement. The noise, though seemingly vibrant, often leaves us empty, questioning what we are truly achieving and whether it is in alignment with our deeper aspirations. Yet, the louder the world becomes, the more essential it is to find moments of silence, spaces where we can reflect, recalibrate, and truly understand the value of our own work, without the need for applause or recognition. Nature offers the most profound examples of quiet, unspoken achievement. It does not seek validation, nor does it measure its progress by the standards humans often impose. Instead, nature simply exists, works, and flourishes in its own time, without fanfare or external acknowledgement. The trees grow, the rivers flow, and the sun rises each day, unseen efforts that shape the world around us. These natural processes occur steadily and without the urgency or the noise that often surrounds human ambition. Yet, despite the lack of recognition or applause, nature's achievements are undeniable in their impact, in their consistency, and in the quiet strength they embody. The tree, for instance, grows in silence. It begins as a tiny seed, planted in the soil with no immediate reward or recognition. It is not concerned with how fast it grows, nor does it compare itself to other trees. It simply responds to the world around it, drawing from the earth, reaching for the sky, and expanding slowly, steadily over time. There is no outward rush, no noise made as it stretches its branches or thickens its trunk. Its growth happens in the quiet of the forest, beneath the cover of leaves and shadow. Yet the tree's strength is apparent in the way it endures storms, withstands drought, and continues to grow year after year, its presence unmistakable even without being constantly seen. The tree's achievement lies not in how fast it grows or how loudly it declares itself, but in its steady, silent persistence. The river does not announce its course, yet it carves through rock, shaping valleys and creating landscapes over time. The water flows consistently, relentlessly, without ever needing to shout about its progress. The river's work is evident in the transformation of the land it touches, in the way it creates new paths and shapes the very environment around it. Yet it never seeks attention. It simply moves forward, carving its way through obstacles with quiet determination. Its power lies not in force or noise, but in persistence and subtlety, showing us that even the smallest, softest forces can create monumental change when applied consistently over time. The sun, too, offers a quiet example of silent achievement. Each morning it rises and sets, marking the passage of time without ever seeking recognition for its role in sustaining life on Earth. It does not boast about the energy it provides or the warmth it offers. It simply shines day after day, illuminating the world, fueling growth and enabling life to thrive. It is constant in its rhythm, dependable in its presence, yet entirely unconcerned with whether anyone acknowledges its efforts. The sun is a reminder that true power lies in consistency, in being steadfast without the need for validation, in giving without expecting anything in return. In these natural examples, there is no urgency to be seen, no need to announce achievements or seek recognition. Nature operates on its own time with a quiet trust in its processes. It teaches us that achievement is not always about noise or visibility. Often, the most significant progress is made in silence, in the slow, deliberate effort that goes unnoticed until one day it becomes undeniable. Nature's achievements, though they may appear quiet or slow, are monumental. They show us that greatness is not always about loud declarations or rapid success, but about consistent, silent effort that endures through time. To trust in the work itself is to place faith in the process, in the steady and persistent effort that forms the backbone of achievement. In a world driven by the need for immediate results and instant gratification, it can be difficult to embrace this quiet trust. We are conditioned to expect quick feedback, to seek constant validation, and to measure success in terms of visible outcomes. However, true mastery and fulfillment come not from the external markers of progress, but from the inner conviction that the work itself, in its quiet unfolding, is enough. When we trust in the work, we stop focusing on the applause or the accolades, and we begin to focus on the process, the act of doing the work itself. This trust allows us to move beyond the need for validation, as we recognize that true value lies in the creation, not in how quickly or loudly it is recognized. The work becomes its own reward. It is the quiet dedication to a craft, the long hours spent refining a skill, the steady progress made each day, that creates a foundation for something meaningful. The results may not always be immediate, and recognition may come only after years of unseen effort, but the work itself, in its quiet persistence, carries its own intrinsic value. To trust in the work is to accept that the road to success is not linear, nor is it always visible to others. There will be moments of frustration, doubt, and failure, but in these moments, trust in the work itself becomes essential. The effort is never wasted, even when the results seem far off or uncertain. Every stroke of the brush, every word written, every step taken toward a goal builds towards something greater. The work is a process of constant refinement, of learning through doing, and it is through this commitment that true growth occurs. When we trust the work, we are able to move past the distractions of comparison, past the pressures of measuring our progress against others, and instead focus on the small, incremental steps that lead to mastery. This trust also allows us to embrace the quiet moments of work. It is easy to become disillusioned when there are no immediate rewards, no immediate recognition. But in these silent moments, when no one is watching, we are shaping the future. We are laying the groundwork for something that may not yet be understood by others, but which in time will stand as a testament to our dedication. The work done in silence may not seem glamorous or important in the short term, but it is the foundation of everything that comes later. The long hours, the repetition, the unseen labor, they all matter, because the work itself matters. Trusting in the work also means embracing the uncertainty that comes with it. We do not always know the outcome, and there may be moments of doubt when it seems like the work is futile or unimportant. But trusting in the work is an act of faith. It is believing that each effort, no matter how small, is contributing to something larger, something meaningful. It is recognizing that the value of the work is not determined by external measures, but by the dedication and care invested in it. Even in the absence of immediate results, the work continues to shape us, to refine us, and to prepare us for the future. To trust in the work itself is to recognize that the work is not just a means to an end, but an end in itself. It is the commitment to the process, to the steady and silent effort, that defines true success. When we embrace this trust, we free ourselves from the need for validation and allow the work to speak for itself, knowing that, in time, it will reveal its own significance. There is a quiet power in allowing success to speak for itself. In a world that often demands loud proclamations of achievement and instant recognition, the idea of letting success remain unspoken may seem counterintuitive. Yet there is something profoundly dignified and enduring about the approach that allows the work to stand as proof of its value, rather than relying on constant self-promotion or validation from others. When success speaks for itself, it does not need to shout for attention. It is evident in the quality of the work, the depth of effort, and the consistency with which it is achieved. To let success speak for you is to trust in the process and in the results of your labor. It means having the confidence to know that in time the outcomes of your work will make their own statement. In a world where so many are eager to claim credit before their work is complete, or seek external validation for every step they take, there is strength in allowing time to reveal the full scope of your achievements. It is not about rushing to prove yourself, nor is it about seeking constant applause for every milestone. Instead, it is about building something that, once it has been completed, cannot be ignored or denied. When the results are strong, lasting, and meaningful, they carry a weight that needs no additional embellishment. The work itself becomes a testament to your efforts, and others will come to see its value without you needing to tell them. Success that speaks for itself is rooted in consistency. It is not the result of one loud moment, but the product of steady, sustained effort over time. It grows from quiet persistence, from the refusal to be swayed by the distractions of others or the pressures to conform to external expectations. By focusing on the work and trusting that excellence will eventually be recognized, you build a reputation not for how often you boast about your achievements, but for how reliably you deliver. This kind of success is quiet, but it is undeniable. It does not need to be paraded around or constantly validated. It is evident in the impact it leaves behind. When you let success speak for you, you also free yourself from the need for comparison. In the modern world, there is a constant temptation to measure your worth by the achievements of others, to measure success in terms of visibility or applause. But when you trust your work, you understand that true success is not about how loudly you announce your presence, but about the quality of what you create and the impact it has on the world. You do not need to compare your journey with anyone else's. Instead, you simply focus on making each step count, trusting that eventually your work will be noticed for its own merits. This approach also fosters humility. Rather than feeling the need to constantly advocate for yourself or highlight your successes, you allow your results to make the case for you. Success, in this context, is not about self-promotion, but about allowing the impact of your efforts to speak for themselves. This form of humility does not diminish the value of the work. Rather, it elevates it, making it clear that the pursuit of excellence is its own reward. The more you trust in the power of your work, the less you need to rely on the external praise of others. You know that, over time, your results will be the loudest testament to your dedication and skill. Letting success speak for you is an act of trust. Trust in the process, in your own abilities, and in the inherent value of your work. It is about knowing that when you put in the effort, the results will eventually stand on their own, and the recognition will come without the need for constant self-promotion. It is the quiet confidence that arises from knowing that true success does not need to be shouted. It is clear in its presence and undeniable in its impact.